League of Women Voters has been involved in fair map drawing and fair voting and all of this since time immemorial, because that's the job of the League of Women Voters nationally. So we are involved in the national project and will be involved statewide and nationally in this project. So all the things that David has talked about in terms of what's happening in redistricting in Idaho are talking about public input, public participation, all the way along through the process of redistricting in Idaho throughout. So those are things that we're going to be involved in throughout. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how that's going to happen. So the project is called People Powered Fair Maps, and so the League promotes both transparency and accountable redistricting processes and ending partisan practices that don't benefit constituents in terms of voting. And although the video, I wanted to point out that gerrymandering can occur, partisan gerrymandering, although in the last 10 years, partisan gerrymandering has occurred primarily from the standpoint of the current administration on the Republican end. Gerrymandering has occurred by both Democrats and Republicans. This is not just a Republican issue, it's partisan gerrymandering. So that's what we're talking about. It's not, and the Supreme Court has declined on the subject of partisan gerrymandering. They have weighed in on racial gerrymandering a number of times. And the League has been a part of that at the state level and at the national level. So what we want to do is, and the League nationally and statewide makes sure that fair redistricting and provides us with the tools to make sure that fair redistricting needs to be vested in an independent special commission. And our commission is both listed as an independent commission as well as a bipartisan commission. So it's listed as both, with membership that it reflects the diversity of the unit of government. So, and that's where we stand. We're a bipartisan commission. So that's just the types of commissions that are in the states that currently draw the lines. And again, this whole presentation will be available, will be sent out.
Mary, what is a hybrid commission?
A hybrid has both, or has different, they can have both one kind and another kind mixed together. So, and I listed them on the previous slide. I don't want to take a whole bunch of time on all of them. So what we're going to do in terms of the state, so we want to hold the line and protect fair redistricting in Idaho. So what that means here is just what David was talking about and what Kathy was talking about. It depends on the legislation that's brought forward. So what do we need to do as a committee? Our committee, People Powered Fair Maps Committee. We need to watch the legislation. So we'll be willing to help people learn how to watch legislation, how to be vigilant, and not just count on David or anybody else's emails to bring us up to date on legislation, but how to know what's going on in the legislature in terms of what's coming in terms of redistricting. What's brought forward to change the Constitution's requirement on a bipartisan redistricting commission by modifying it so that the majority party or any other shenanigans are happening at the legislative level and stopping that from happening. Once that becomes clear, we're going to assist in education, so that transparency part. So we have a lot of materials on redistricting. What does it mean? What are the terms that you're gonna see that people need to know about? What are the census process, what is the census process? How can you be involved in the census process? What is the Voting Rights Act? What is the Voting Rights Enhancement Act? Which, I mean, all of us, I thought a year ago that the Voting Rights Act had been passed, done and dusted. Well, come to find out, no, not so much. Many states, as we know, have been practicing, against, and there are lots of threats to the Voting Rights Act at this particular point nationally, as most of us know now. And making sure that there's public participation in the census and legislative process, as David said throughout his slides. We need to protect our Idaho Constitution and bipartisan redistricting commission, as David said, and against threats to participants or criteria for district boundaries. And we're gonna do that. And we're gonna work to restore the Voting Rights Act of 1965 through the passage of Voting Rights Advancements Act and other legislation, and put protections in place for the 2021 redistricting cycle following the census. So again, we have many sets of materials and processes in place through the people-powered fair maps processes. And we want to create awareness about redistricting, the importance and the impact redistricting has on your vote, on how that vote is counted and collected and maintained, and why it's important. All of us know our vote is important, but we need to be able to carry that forward in a really passionate way. And I think, all of us, sitting up here, really believe that and want to make sure that happens. So we're gonna do this I'll be doing it statewide, and then here in Moscow, Mary Jo Van Gerpen and Kathy will be carrying it forward a lot, because I'm having big surgery in December, and so we'll be kind of out for a little while, but they're gonna be doing lots, and doing it here in Moscow and in coalition with our community partners. And we invite you, any of you that are interested at all in any faint way, to join us in this effort. And so in that effort, we are meeting immediately, almost, next week, November 20th, so that's Wednesday, from 5 to 6. I'm at Cafe Artista in the back room. So if there are any of you that would like to join us, if there's even a team meeting with a bunch of you, that would be grand, to start a little, to join us in this committee, the advocacy committee, in this work to advance the work on the census, the work on the Voting Rights Act, the work on starting and maintaining the work that will need to be done in terms of redistricting and assisting with that. That will be, we invite you to join us. And now you can, have at David to, with all your questions on redistricting. And I will send around, I'll start to send around the sign-up sheet for all the various pieces of information. I only brought 25 of each because I have no idea how many people